Hey everyone, so this is a review I've been waiting to do for a little while now. Been trying to find the time to do this one. It's a big one. So today I'm doing Titans Return Trypticon, the one, the only. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, the box. First time I've had the box on hand. Hold on to this just for this occasion. So as you can see, he's got some pretty amazing art on the front there. And if you have a keen eye, you can spot Black Shadow and Six Shot flying around in the background. Yeah. Standard text here. That's the back of it. Little cropped image. And then the top of the box just has kind of showing off his different modes, his accessories. Now, before I get into Trypticon himself, we're going to go ahead and take a look at his Titan Master Necro and his smaller robot Full Tilt. So, bringing in Necro here. Focus. Focus. Yep, wonders of technology right there. Okay, cool. Hey, alright, so here you can see Necro. And some better lighting here. Alright. Necro is actually based in appearance off of a character called Wipeout. He was a comic-only character in the old Marvel comics that kind of took the place of Full Tilt as Trypticon's little helper person. And Wipeout himself was actually based off of the toy model of, come on with this, of Tailgate, but he was like a dark blue. Whether or not this is actually intended to be a same character or just a neat little Easter egg, I'm not entirely sure, but he's really cool nonetheless. So, boop. This is Full Tilt in his vehicle form. Very reminiscent of the original Full Tilt that I actually have right here. Got the same general shape and everything down. So, nice update. Full Tilt has a little compartment that opens up that Necro can actually ride in. Get in there. Alright, there it is. It's kind of concealed when it closes, but no big deal. And this gun is removable, and becomes Full Tilt's handheld gun in robot mode. So now I'm going to go ahead, transform this guy into his robot mode. Take the little Titan Master out. Alright, so first thing is flip these panels open here. Oh, no, sorry. Flip these down. And flip the panels open. Flip the legs down. You gotta swing up his little crotch piece here. Oh my. Well, that's not supposed to happen. Alright, so swing his arms down the shoulders, flip his fists out. Bring this piece down as basically a backpack for him. Alright, there's his body. Go ahead and transform Necro into his head mode. Flip his leg panels back. Alright, and attach Necro. Necro's a really tight fit, by the way, at least on my copy. Alright, And here we have Full Tilt, wielding his signature little double barrel blaster there. And here I can compare him to the original Full Tilt in Robot Mode. You can see he is way, way better. I mean, honestly, the original Full Tilt really just kind of always came off to me as more of an afterthought than a fully fleshed out robot. I mean, he's kind of garbage. So it's really great to see the character finally get a decent looking toy. Alright, moving on to Trypticon himself, we're going to start him out in base mode. The way we can culminate this in his robot mode or dinosaur mode, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so his base mode definitely takes a lot of cues from the original. Overall, very, very, very cool looking. A lot of little details in here. Got the little ramp. Goes all the way down, so you know if you want to have Full Tilt, just woo! Fun for all ages. He's got these little connectors here. He actually has some here, some there. Was there more, or was that it? Yeah, I guess that was it. Those are meant to connect to the Titans Return leader class figures in their base modes. And when they connect, they form according to his instructions, what's called Nemesis Command, which is a pretty cool name here. Alright, you're going to see that there are a lot of stickers on this figure. That looked like it was coming off for a second. They're all metallic. They're very nice looking. There's a ton of them. I think it's like 159 or so. It took a long time to put together. Overall, wasn't too bad. I did kind of screw up though. Here on his reactors, the little like V1, V2, V3, all that are supposed to go in the corner, and then these little like emergency shutoff stickers are supposed to go in the middle. So I didn't realize that until it was too late, and once these stickers go on, probably not getting them back off. Maybe I'll see if Hasbro can be nice to me and send me a new sticker sheet. His head is very visible in this mode from the back, so it does kind of detract from, you know, the whole base facade. But, you know, he's covered in the little connector points for Titan Masters. You got them up here. You have all of this little runway / flight deck. I mean, they're everywhere. On the legs, on the shoulders. So you can really, you know, gather up all your Titan Masters, all your other figures, and make this guy into a full-blown city. Now we're going to transform Trypticon into his Starship mode, which is known as the Nemesis, the Decepticon ship. So kind of take some concept cues from his aligned continuity counterpart. Alright, so pull the ramps back in. This is going to go down. So far, so good, right? All right. Now, big thing we have to do here is bring his legs back together. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Behave yourself. Click. All right, you see there's a little tab here. Just Plugs in like so. Same thing over here. Oops. Fix that. Okay, so this is his Starship mode. I don't remember if that's important or not. Yep, that's right. I totally didn't just go look at the instructions or anything. Alright, so very similar to his base mode. You know, not a whole lot changes. Pretty much just flip some ramps up, bring his legs in. But it does look very cool. It is very heavy, and you do have to kind of lift it a certain way so it doesn't all just flop around. But honestly, for a mode that didn't exist in the original toy, I mean, it's very impressive. It definitely looks like a starship. And one neat little feature, you can see this on the base mode too, this whole front of it is designed to kind of resemble his T-Rex head. Look at the colors on this thing, huh? Alright, now for the big moment. We're going to put Trypticon in his most recognizable mode, his giant dinosaur or kaiju mode, whatever you want to call it. Still, to this day, not really sure if he's meant to be a dinosaur or basically robot Godzilla, but yeah. Okay, so flip these back in like so. Unplug the feet here. Lock it in place. There's this little button you gotta press here in order to lock the sides in place. And pull at his hip and push the button down so it'll emit the leg. Do the same thing on this side. Pull the leg there. Pop it out. Pop it in. Unfold his feet. Alright, I'm going to stand this guy up now. Let's see how we want this. Let's get one more turn in this direction. That's good. Sit on the side. Okay, put the arm panels down, plug his arms from the peg that they're on. Alright, and bring his cannons up. Let's head out. Rotate this entire assembly 180 degrees. Rawr. Alright, that's the transformation. Alright. So, this guy is instantly recognizable as Trypticon. So, he does interact with his smaller guys, Full Tilt and the Titan Master, Necro. Full Tilt connects to his chest here via this little accessory. So, pull that out, the little thing down. His little chest panel doesn't like to stay closed, and we'll talk about that. Alright. Full tilt, you just, there's a little peg right here. Just kind of push them up against it. Peg them in from the bottom. And flip this thing around and hold them in place. And you just swing that back down like that. A little floppy, it doesn't stay completely flush, which is kind of annoying. Alright. So, if that looks familiar, it's because it should. Now, you may remember on the original Trypticon, he has a little cannon that comes out of his forehead there, so how do we activate it with this? I mean, you can actually just pull it up, it's not that strong of a spring, but where you're supposed to do it, you take Necro, or any Titan Master technically, you plug him in right here, on the top of the head. Got a little Titan Master slot there. Alright, he's plugged in. Yeah, just push down like a button. And bam! There he is in all his glory. He's got the little cannon inside his mouth. It doesn't actually move, but it is nice that it's painted so well. Little face cannon looks nice. These obviously can point forward. And you got one mean looking dinosaur. Or Godzilla thing. I don't know. One neat little play feature that Trypticon has that's, wasn't entirely necessary, but for any kids on this figure, they'll enjoy it, is he can eat Titan Masters. So we're going to take his ill-fated friend here, Necro, and you just open up his mouth and you see there's a hole right down there. And you just chuck him in. Chomp chomp. So where do they go? Well, they go right inside his chest compartment here. Kind of flop out. Uh-oh. Here's the inside of that, by the way. Very cool. It's got 2 decks in there. Give you all a look at his instruction sheet. It's pretty big. It folds like so. Shows you how to put him from his in-box configuration, including connecting legs to his ship mode, then his dinosaur mode, and then his base mode. Back of the instructions shows you how to, transform and interact with Necro and full tilt. There's that whole Nemesis command I mentioned. They use Overlord and Sky Shadow as examples for bases to connect them to. As I record this, Overlord's still not readily available here in the States. Alright, and on this section is the sticker layout. I didn't have too hard of a time following this. Some people have been frustrated with it. Me, I found it, it was a pretty similar experience to doing Metroplex. I heard some reports about the numbers being mixed up. To my memory, I don't really remember that. I think, if anything, what they were talking about is when you have kind of symmetrical stickers, and it might be like one is like 71, 72, they might show them in the wrong spot. As I mentioned earlier, I totally screwed up. These guys are right here. I'm ashamed of myself. Also, here is his collector card, having him look awesome. Though his arms are miscolored, they're thankfully not all purple. Flip it on the back here, and you can see he's kind of got like the 2 power boosts. One from Full Tilt in blue, one from Necro in the green. And yeah, I mean, most of his stats max out at 20. The only one that doesn't is Intelligence, which is still at 18. Which is probably a little generous for Trypticon based on his, media portrayals, but you want to show that he's big and powerful. Here's Trypticon next to the original version. More specifically, the Platinum Edition reissue, because I'm not that rich. You can see the obvious difference in size here. He's about twice the size of his original toy. You can see where it really is just, I mean, a direct upgrade from the original. I mean, they look... This is like kiddie mode, and this is things are getting serious. The original Trypticon, he had a lot of very smooth surfaces, whereas the new one really fills that in with a lot of sculpted detail there. You can see all my kids' toys in the background. I'm not the only one that plays with toys in my house, see? Here he is standing between his two Titan cohorts. The only two of the Titans that have been re-released in recent years. I'm not counting Devastator, because even though he's Titan class, he's not a Titan. One thing you'll notice is that he is a good bit shorter than the other two. Now, granted, he is, unlike the other two, not standing fully erect. I mean, he is crouching down in his natural dinosaur pose. If you go ahead and stand him up to his full height, it does help, you know, bridge that gap a little bit, but in the end, he is still a few inches shorter than the other Titans, which, I mean, it's a bit of a shame, but given all the bulk that he has in other areas, it's kind of expected. Alright, some things worth talking about with this toy. A lot of people that have received it have had some quality assurance issues, and this copy that I have isn't completely devoid of them. So, you know, Trypticon's legs can move a variety of different ways here at the hip. One of the ways it can move is out, and also tilt this way. Now, on my copy, and I've seen it happen for other people, the right leg doesn't really sit completely flush against the body like the left does. It does kind of just naturally stick out to the side. It's not very noticeable. You're just looking at it, but, you know, when you have it in your hands and you're moving it around, you can definitely feel it. The other issue that my Trypticon has, and I mentioned it before, is his chest panel is pretty loose. Not only does it have a tendency to just open under weight, it actually doesn't sit very flush. Like if I push it all the way in, this side kind of dips a bit. Now I can mitigate it a bit by pushing that side in first and then carefully pushing the other side in, not all the way, and it'll hold it a lot better. Ooh, let there be light. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, that's really it for quality assurance problems. Now, the big problem that other people had was with the hip joints themselves. There were reports of the inner workings of the ratchet joint actually destroying itself, becoming unworkable. And that's due to the fact that each hip has a very high pressure spring inside of it. I've actually opened mine up and taken a look at it. It's a very strong spring. I've like squeezed it between my fingers and just, yeah, there's a lot of force there. And it's going up against some very soft plastic. I was really on the fence on whether or not I was going to do one of the little homemade remedies that people suggested for minimizing that, and that included like cutting the spring, and I'm really not big on altering my figures. But in the end, I decided to just kind of test it and see what happened. And before I even attached the legs to Trypticon, because in the box he comes with them unattached, I went and I twisted the ratchet in full circles, both directions, and just kind of felt for it. And yeah, it's a very strong ratchet. I mean, you do have to put some force behind it. But in the end, after twisting it a bunch of ways, different times, I opened the joints back up. There was no sign of damage or anything. So I think a lot of it just comes down to how you're turning it. Whenever I do turn his legs, and this is something I learned from my work experience. All right, I grab it here, right? Not way out here, but just kind of grab it right at the hip and give it, kind of wind it back, like back it up against the last click and give it like a quick little, that. Instead of like just slowly trying to force it if it doesn't want to go. Not only does it minimize the chance of damage, it just makes his legs much less frustrating to turn up and down. Okay, so my final thoughts on Titan's Return Trypticon. He is worth every penny. I'm not going to lie. I mean, with the flaws aside, I mean, assuming yours doesn't have hips that break, he's an amazing figure. I mean, $150 price tag is way more worth it for him than it is, say, the Primus redeco that they're trying to push for the last night right now. I mean, he does everything right for a Trypticon toy. He does everything right for a Titan's Return toy, and just Transformer and a figure in general. I mean, the detail on this guy, the many moving parts, the great looking modes. I honestly couldn't recommend him more. I mean, hopefully Hasbro, having caught wind of some of the QC issues, will, in future waves or future, shipments, maybe do a little something just to minimize the chance of something going wrong. And obviously, if you get one of these and the hips break, let them know and request a new one. But yeah, I mean, this is one of the best figures in my collection. I definitely voted for it in the Hall of Fame for, best figure for the year. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this review of it. I know, I'm sure plenty of other people have done one too, but hopefully you found this one informative, And just, let me know what you thought about it. Let me know what you liked, didn't like. If you have one, let me know what your experience was. And with that, we'll see you next time. And this is a little art piece I like to call What Responsible Adults Do with Their Life. Here you go. Look at, you got Fortress Maximus, you got Metroplex, Trypticon, all these leader class Transformers in base mode there. Bam, bam, bam. So yeah, I'm a little ashamed to admit just how long this took me to set up and how many Transformers it takes to, put this together. But the amount of joy this brings me has no words. Filming in 4K. Look at that resolution. Big step up from the last video, that's for sure. For all of my brand new collectors out there, I'd like to give you a pro tip. This is how you get ahead in life.